start off with is arteries. All right, and there's a lot of unnecessary extra talking. Whatever needs to happen, just have it done.
Yo, can I take this thing out the way?
You bet.
Okay, can I wash my hands?
If you need to, sinks right away. So, all right. So you'll notice that I've got arteries in red, and arteries are a blood vessel. They are distinguished by one having a thick-walled tube, right? So, who's ever felt their own or someone else's pulse before?
Yeah.
When you're feeling someone's pulse, what you're actually feeling is the movement of the artery. You are feeling the artery contract and dilate. What is it when something contracts? When a muscle contracts.
When it shrinks.
When it shrinks, when it tightens, when it closes, right? When something dilates, it's opening up. Every time you're feeling someone's pulse, what you are feeling by extension is their heartbeat through the movement of their arteries.
Okay, this will turn on.
That's why I'd asked you to use that one. Oh, Mr.
Yeah.
Robin may have turned them off because students were making a mess in the other room. So you'll just have to go to the bathroom. All right, so, yeah, he shuts the water off when things get messy over there. All right, and the other thing to notice is that these arteries are transporting oxygenated blood throughout the body. There's a key word here. The thing they always ask on the MCAS is they'll give you a list of anatomy, and they'll say which one of these things transports blood away from the heart. And you'll notice here the word away and the word artery start with the same letter, right? So a simple trick to remember this, right, is to just think arteries away. Right, so being mindful that there's a simple word way that you can create this to remember it. Generally speaking, like I said, on the MCAS, they might ask you, which particular blood vessel brings blood away from the heart, and they'll give you the choices of capillaries, veins, so on and so forth, and you just remember arteries away. Also noticing, we've got the color red here. What color does blood turn when it's exposed to oxygen?
Blue.
When it's exposed to oxygen?
Red.
Red, right? We talked about that a little bit last time, right? The red blood cells capture the oxygen. What was that protein in the red blood cells that captures the oxygen? Anybody remember? The arteries do connect to the capillaries, but what was the protein in the red blood cells, the one that captures?
Hemoglobin.
That was the hemoglobin, right? So the reason those arteries turn red is that the hemoglobin proteins capture oxygen. All right, next up, we're going to go to a blood vessel, the one that is a cap around every cell in the body. Does anyone remember the name of that?
Capillaries?
That is our capillaries. Very nice. So in purple today, in our violettes. All right, so our capillaries, which we're doing in purple today, these are the microscopic blood vessels. Very clear all right, so and the important thing here is that these capillaries exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide with cells in the body. Has anyone ever had a bruise before? Yeah. Tell me what the coloration of a bruise is like. What's happened there in a bruise, a lot of the capillaries, these microscopic vessels have burst, they've ruptured, they've broken. And blood is trapped in the area, not receiving oxygen. Yeah?
What about, let's say if I put my finger right there and someone closes the door on me? How
Yeah.
you have blood right here?
What you're seeing is the blood vessels underneath the nail have all been damaged. They've all been broken. So the blood there is not receiving oxygen anymore, so it can no longer maintain that red-pink color like our nails have. And and eventually what happens to the bruise?
It goes down.
Eventually it goes away, right? Your body does repair it. But because these are delicate, they're very small, they're easily broken. Any kind of impact can cause it. All right, and once again, this is a transfer station. Can everyone remind me, what is the important verb action here? When we talk about this exchange, right? We're talking about how O2 spreads out from a high concentration in the blood to a lower concentration in the cell. What do you call that action of molecules moving away from?
Diffusion.
Diffusion, right? You want to make sure you know that this process is diffusion, because that is definitely going to be on next Friday's assessment, as well as it's often on the MCAS. All right, so is anyone feeling bold? I want to tell me what the next one is, see if they remember.
Veins.
Veins. All right, so in darker blue, in our dark blue pencil of our two blues, are our veins. Now, unlike our arteries, our veins are thin-walled. And unlike our arteries, our veins are not transporting oxygen away from the heart, but they're transporting deoxygenated blood that is rich in CO2, to the heart. And of course, CO2 stands for?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide, great. So note here that, again, arteries take blood away, whereas veins always take blood to the heart. And let's go ahead for now and also just be mindful that we are talking about deoxygenated blood here. In our standard issue veins, do we have evidence that the blood in the veins is blue-ish?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just by looking at your own body, right? We can look down and we can see that these tubes are filled with a blood that is without oxygen. It's not red. And for folks who, can or cannot see their veins, having nice veins that stick out is a really good sign, right? It shows that you have the right amount of body fat. It shows that the blood pressure in the veins is really good, right? So if you can bend your wrists down like if you were Spider-Man shooting some webs, and you can see veins stick up, right? You know that you're in pretty good shape. Yeah.
Because last year, just the change was like if you do meth, you can't see your veins.
Yeah, it messes with your heartbeat, and then their blood pressure goes down, and the veins, they recede because they're not open as much. They're shriveled up. All right. Can anybody tell me why this particular color scheme is on here? So if we're saying that O2 makes the blood red, and a lack of O2 makes it blue, and the capillaries are a place where oxygenated and deoxygenated blood come together. Anybody looking at the colors, the three colors on the board?
Red, yellow, blue equals purple.
Red and blue equal purple, right? So just like your capillaries when you get a bruise, right? Noticing that, again, when oxygenated and deoxygenated blood are mixed, you get that purplish color. Awesome. All right, let's move on. All right, so next up, our veins. Our veins are going to connect to the heart, to a part of the heart known as the right atrium. We're going to use our lighter blue for this. And has anyone ever heard the word atrium before, or been to a building where there's an atrium?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what it is, what it means?
A hallway.
All right, you're thinking of like a hallway or a hall? It's a place where things gather. So we can just go ahead and add that as one of our STEM words. Right, so we're saying all the veins in the body ultimately gather and connect to the atrium through a tube called the vena cava, which we'll look at in our dissection today. And this is in the upper right chamber of the heart. And note that it receives deoxygenated blood from the whole body. And we'll go ahead and add from all veins to that. So adding in, because we have our veins in blue, right, so we can make the connection here that these things are part of the same system, part of the same group. All right, so this atrium, just like an atrium at Harvard Medical School around the corner, is that's a place where students gather and come together. This is a place where all the veins from the body gather and come together, transporting the deoxygenated blood from all veins. What kind of gas is there in this blood?
Carbon.
So if it's low in oxygen, it's high in carbon dioxide, right? Your CO2. So being mindful that this right atrium is receiving deoxygenated blood. Can anyone describe to me, what is the name of those holes in the wall where air comes out of when you have the heater on?
SpongeBob? Vents.
in our lighter green, we have our right ventricle. Notice we have the word vent here. A vent is a space that, transports things to a new area, right? So this vent is going to push blood from the heart out to the lungs. Yeah,
Is that lighter?
that's our lighter green, thank you. All right, so this right ventricle, like any vent, right, ventilation, the movement of, yes.
How come, so my little cousin, like, she has a little hole, like, through her heart? How come?
Some people are just born with defects. It's very common for us to all have variations. Just like some people are born with good eyesight and not, same kind of thing. All right, so this right ventricle is in the lower right chamber of the heart, and its job is to pump, to send deoxygenated blood to the lungs. So we're thinking about this whole side of the heart, the right side of the heart, is only dealing with deoxygenated blood that is carbon dioxide rich. Now, my Spanish speakers in the room have a bit of a clue for the next item. So we're saying that the next thing goes to the lungs. Which kind of tube carries blood away from the heart? Which kind of blood vessel carries blood away? Whole topic of the last slide.
What does that have to do with Spanish speaking?
The arteries, right? Arteries take blood away from the heart. And, ¿cómo se dice lung en español? Pulmón. Right, so we are talking about the pulmonary artery. Right, artery as in takes away blood. Pulmón as it's connected to the lung. Remember that Spanish is a Latin-based language, right? This is our Latin word meaning lung, pulmón. So whether you are French, Portuguese, Italian, you'll use a similar word root for this. Right, so this pulmonary artery is a blood vessel that transports deoxygenated blood to the lungs. And in a moment, we're going to grab the sorting hat. All right, so this particular artery, like the rest of the arteries in the body, is transporting blood away from the heart. Coco? Oh, Charles, Choco. Thank you.
Wait, no.
I grabbed the wrong color. Oh, sorry about that. All right, that's not in your class. Don't.
Who is that?
So sad. Maria did get chosen this morning, too.
Yarrow.
All right. All right, sir.
Mario.
So like the other arteries, these particular arteries transport blood away from the heart. But what's different about these arteries than the other ones? What was in the blood of your standard issue artery?
Yeah.
Red.
Which means it has?
Blood of oxygen.
And what are we saying about this blood?
It takes away oxygen.
What kind of blood is it transporting? Blood that has little to no
Oxygen.
oxygen, right? So the difference is between pulmonary arteries, in addition to being connected to the lungs, is they're transporting a blood that is absent of oxygen, right? Instead it has mostly CO2. So there's a little bit of an inversion there. All right. And then obviously based on this definition, what will our next destination word be?
Lung cap,
Pulmonary vein.
I just said
Ventricle.
So we are transporting blood to the
capillaries.
no.
Lungs.
To the lungs.
Let's come back.
Oh! All right, so just in your normal pen or pencil, yeah, of course, pass it right over here. All right, so our lung capillaries are where our body is going to exchange O2 and CO2 with the environment. And again, in our breathing, can someone remind me which gas is expelled and which one is inhaled? Excellent, right? So the lungs, this is your gateway to the environment, right? Your lungs are going to take that CO2 from the bloodstream, eject it from the body, and then on your inhale, on your inspiration, bring air and oxygenated air in. Right, so we've now had this interplay between two different body systems in reference to homeostasis. Right, we have the respiratory system and the circulatory system working together to maintain the homeostasis of gases. All right, and now we have to transport the blood with the oxygen back to the heart. So if we're talking about a blood vessel that's connected to the lung, it's going to be pulmonary. And since it's going to the heart, it will be a
Artery.
which blood vessels bring blood to the heart?
Oh, ventricle. No,
Veins, right? So our pulmonary vein, good teamwork, folks. All right, so our pulmonary vein, we're doing that in yellow today. All right, so our pulmonary veins, these are blood vessels that are transporting the oxygenated blood to the heart. And Jairo, if you could choose our next person, please. He's not going to pick, he's just going to not going to choose. Just pull one out, first one.
Christine.
Excellent. All right, so Christine, you have the same kind of question that Jairo did before. These veins, just like the rest of the veins in your body, are transporting blood to the heart. But what's different about these veins than the other veins we talked about? So just look at your definition for veins from before, and look at about the quality of the blood. Yes. All right, how is this different than that statement? Excellent, right? So, like our other veins in the body, right, this transports blood to the heart, but unlike the rest of the body's veins, this is transporting blood that is oxygenated, right? Blood that is absent or reduced in its levels of CO2. All right, now what chamber of the heart receives the blood? It's not ventricle. Ventricle pushes out. Which one is the receiving chamber from our previous side? A place where things gather.
Atrium.
Our atrium. Great. So in our orange, I know it looks brown on the screen, but in the orange colored pencil is our left atrium. All right, so our atrium is the upper left chamber of the heart, just as the right atrium is the upper right. And just like before, our atrium again is a receiving point where blood from multiple vessels is coming. But unlike our right atrium, this atrium is dealing with oxygenated blood. Right, and then it's ultimately going to get poured from the atrium into the ventricle, the place it's going to push it out. Right, so in our brown, so using our brown coloring tool, we're again talking about vent. A vent is a place, right, that is pushing and or exchanging something. Right, so this left ventricle, this lower left chamber of the heart, that sends oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. And once again, unlike our last ventricle, this ventricle is dealing with oxygenated blood, whereas our last one is dealing with deoxygenated blood. Now let's start to talk logically about the shape of the heart. You know, obviously we draw like a cute little Valentine heart, it's all symmetrical and perfect. But what does a normal heart look like for those who've seen pictures? All right, so there's tubes that come out of it, sure. And is it the same shape on both sides perfectly? No, it's an asymmetrical structure. Now, if one side of the heart is pushing blood to the lungs, and the other side of the heart has to push blood to the whole body, which side of the heart would be larger and more muscular? The one pushing to the heart or one pushing to the whole body? The one that pushes to the whole body, right? So the left side of the heart is the more elongated muscular side of the heart, as we'll see when we do our dissection shortly. Yeah.
Is that why they say that black-handed people, they tend to have heart problems?
I've actually never heard that before.
It's actually voted, but I'm not.
All right, I'll check that out. All right, so as always, we finished a nice little color-coded vocabulary presentation. So what's coming next?
Wait, don't.
The drawing.
We're gonna do a little drawing. So, all right. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. All right. It's all right. You know to get it from a neighbor. There's also those laptops available. All right. Just like on Monday's notes, I've got two versions available. The more cartoonish version that makes the colors more apparent. You can also look this up in the book on page 230. And I have the version that's on the MCAS. We're going to be adding some things to this drawing in about 10 minutes. So you've got 10 minutes to do your best to make this happen. Feel free to look at page 230 if you have any extra problems. And then after we do this, we'll do our dissection. Yep, right underneath your activity there.
What if we're more?
So you're going to be coloring it in.